Top crypto coins 2026, HBAR, XRP and XLM ready to break out? Hedera, XRP Ledger and Stellar have all made significant progress in 2026, emerging as three prominent names among the top crypto coins, with developments spanning enterprise infrastructure, tokenized assets, stablecoins, and cross-border payments. However, for holders, what matters is not only how far these networks have developed, but whether that progress can generate additional demand for HBAR, XRP and XLM, creating enough momentum for their prices to break out. So, among HBAR, XRP and XLM, which coin is moving closest to a genuine breakout in 2026, and which one is still being supported mainly by expectations? Watch today's video as Crypto Radar searches for the answer. Crypto Radar. HBAR, XRP and XLM are often discussed together in conversations about top crypto 2026 because all three are designed for use cases that extend beyond speculation in the crypto market. However, each project approaches the financial system from a different direction. For Hedera Crypto, the first key distinction is that it is not a traditional blockchain, but a distributed ledger built around the Hashgraph consensus mechanism. Within the Hedera Hashgraph HBAR ecosystem, the HBAR token is used to pay transaction fees and support network security, while fees are priced in US dollars before being converted into HBAR. This mechanism allows enterprises to predict their operating costs even when the token price fluctuates, making it suitable for applications that require stable performance, clear governance, and the ability to meet compliance requirements. This means that as more applications go live and transaction volumes increase, demand for HBAR could also expand. However, because fees on Hedera are extremely low, a few pilot programs or partnerships are still not enough to create a meaningful impact. HBAR's advantage therefore does not simply depend on how efficiently the network can process transactions, but on whether Hedera can attract enough real-world activity for HBAR to truly stand out among the top crypto coins. To explore Hedera's technology, the role of HBAR and its long-term potential in greater detail, watch Hedera HBAR Price Prediction: What Everyone is Missing on the Crypto Radar channel. While HBAR has a relatively direct demand mechanism, it still lacks sufficient scale. XRP faces a different challenge. The token already has strong recognition and deep liquidity, but its practical role within the system still needs to be demonstrated more clearly. XRP was developed to serve as a bridge asset between different currencies or markets. Instead of requiring institutions to keep capital readily available in multiple countries, XRP can be used as an intermediary asset to support currency conversion and settlement. However, the growth of Ripple or XRP Ledger does not automatically mean that XRP will benefit to the same extent. Stablecoins, tokenized assets, and new applications can expand activity on XRPL without necessarily creating substantial demand for XRP. Therefore, the advantage of XRP crypto will only be fully realized if the token is regularly involved in providing liquidity, converting assets, and moving value between markets. While the Ripple XRP narrative centers on its role as a bridge asset for large capital flows, XLM Stellar Lumens begins with a more familiar need: cross-border money transfers for individuals and businesses. A user can move funds onto Stellar, convert them into USDC or another digital asset, send them across borders, and then exchange them for local currency. This process can be fast and inexpensive while reducing dependence on traditional intermediary layers. The Stellar network does not need to replace the entire financial system. It only needs to become an important part of remittances, payments, and the connection between cash and digital assets to attract a significant volume of transactions. However, this strength also raises an important question for Stellar XLM coin. If users simply move stablecoins onto Stellar, transfer them from one location to another, and then leave the network, most of the value will remain in USDC or other assets issued on the platform. XLM is still used to pay transaction fees, meet minimum account balance requirements, and perform basic network functions, but the demand created by these activities may not be large enough. XLM's opportunity will become clearer if Stellar can do more than process transactions and successfully retain users, liquidity, and assets within its ecosystem. In summary, among the top crypto coins, HBAR, XRP, and XLM each have their own strengths, but none has established an absolute advantage. Therefore, the best coin for a potential breakout may not necessarily be the one with the most compelling narrative, but the one that can convert its strengths into real, sustained usage powerful enough to create price momentum in the crypto 2026 market. Since the beginning of the year, Hedera, XRP Ledger, and Stellar have all recorded significant progress, further strengthening their positions among the top crypto coins frequently covered in crypto news. For Hedera, the story does not revolve around a single product, but around the network gradually expanding its role in enterprise processes. FedEx and Accenture have joined the governing council, directly participating in ecosystem governance and exploring applications related to supply chains, enterprise data, AI, payments, and asset tokenization. More importantly, several applications have begun moving beyond the pilot stage. Doview is using Hedera to digitize and verify approximately $1.1 billion worth of carbon credits. Hedera is also working with Archax to develop tokenized securities products and distribute cash flows directly to investors. In addition, its collaboration with Aceto is accelerating institutional tokenization. These projects show that HBAR Hedera Hashgraph is gradually bringing its infrastructure into specific use cases such as real-world assets, data management, and supply chains, rather than simply announcing more partnerships. To support this process, Hedera has also introduced several additional technical components. HashSphere is designed to provide a private environment for institutions, while the cross-ledger protocol is being developed to transfer tokens, data, and messages across multiple systems without relying entirely on traditional bridges. Looking ahead to the remainder of 2026, recent Hedera news suggests that the network will continue moving in this direction through block nodes, new tokenization technology, EVM compatibility, and tools designed for real-world assets, supply chains, and AI agents. While Hedera is focused on building the infrastructure layer behind the scenes, XRP Ledger has followed a more specific growth driver this year, the RLUSD stablecoin. RLUSD is expanding into markets such as Japan, Turkey, and Latin America, while becoming available across a growing number of payment and trading platforms. In July 2026, Ripple launched Ripple Mint, providing an interface and APIs that allow institutions to issue, redeem, and transfer RLUSD directly within their existing systems. This is a notable development because XRP Ripple is not simply introducing another stablecoin to the market. It is also building a set of tools that enables banks, fintech companies, and enterprises to integrate stablecoins into their operations without replacing their entire infrastructure. Alongside its product expansion, Ripple has also strengthened its regulatory position by obtaining a full CASP license under MiCA in Luxembourg, together with an EMI license. However, the XRP Ripple news story in 2026 is not limited to RLUSD. The network is moving further into bringing traditional financial products onto the blockchain. Aviva Investors is launching a tokenized share class of a USD liquidity fund on XRPL. Programs involving Kyobo Life and several other institutions are also testing the processing of government bonds and various tokenized assets. These developments are expanding XRP Ledger's range of applications beyond cross-border payments into investment funds, securities, and institutional financial services. Stellar Crypto, meanwhile, presents a different picture. Rather than standing out because of newly announced partners or infrastructure, the network's most important signal this year comes from its actual usage volume. In the first quarter alone, the value of stablecoin payments processed on Stellar reached approximately $5.5 billion, representing a 72% year-over-year increase and setting a new all-time high. The value of real-world assets brought onto the network also exceeded $3 billion by the middle of the year. These figures suggest that Stellar Coin is gradually establishing a clear position in the two areas the ecosystem has pursued for years: moving money and distributing tokenized assets. MoneyGram is one of the key links helping Stellar bring these activities closer to mainstream users. In June 2026, the company launched MGUSD directly on Stellar, allowing users to access digital US dollars through a familiar money transfer application. The company's decision to become a Tier 1 validator also shows that MoneyGram is not only using Stellar's products, but is becoming more deeply involved in operating and securing the network. Beyond remittances, Stellar is also among the blockchains supported by MasterCard for the expansion of stablecoin card payments. This moves the network one step further, from cross-border transfers toward everyday payment activity. In 2026, the Stellar Development Foundation aims to attract approximately $1 billion in additional assets, sign agreements with 15 new enterprises, and bring at least 5 partners into live deployment. In addition, DTCC has selected the Stellar network to connect with its securities tokenization platform. DTCC and the Stellar Development Foundation expect DTC tokenized assets to become available on the Stellar network during the first half of 2027. Overall, all 3 projects remain notable candidates in discussions about the best crypto coin, helping HBAR coin, XRP and XLM cryptocurrency maintain their positions among the top crypto coins worth watching. However, ecosystem growth does not necessarily mean that the tokens will automatically benefit to the same extent. For holders, the key question is not only what the top coin ecosystems, Hedera, XRP Ledger, and Stellar have achieved, but whether those developments are actually creating new demand for HBAR crypto, XRP coin, and XLM. So, have the current prices of HBAR, XRP, and XLM fully reflected the potential of their respective networks, or is the market still waiting for stronger evidence that these tokens can achieve a genuine breakout? That is what we will examine next. With the crypto market still relatively weak and capital yet to meaningfully return to altcoins, the top crypto coins HBAR, XRP, and XLM have found it difficult to avoid the broader downward pressure. At the time of this video, the HBAR price is trading at around $0.069, approximately 88% below its peak of nearly $0.57. It has the smallest market capitalization among the 3 coins, which means its price can react quite strongly when new developments or expectations emerge. This happened in April 2024, when HBAR surged by more than 100% following HBAR news that a BlackRock fund had been tokenized on Hedera. However, the price quickly reversed when the market realized that BlackRock had not directly selected the network. That event showed that HBAR is highly sensitive to news and expectations, but its price may struggle to sustain upward momentum if real-world activity fails to keep pace. At its current level, the market still appears uncertain about how much value Hedera's enterprise activities can ultimately generate for HBAR. Next is XRP, a coin that faced pressure for several years after the SEC lawsuit began in late 2020. As positive legal developments gradually emerged and the case moved closer to a conclusion, XRP recorded one of the most notable recoveries among large-cap cryptocurrencies. In early 2025, XRP surpassed its 2021 high and briefly traded above $3. Even so, the token failed to break decisively above its all-time high of nearly $3.84 and has since fallen back to around $1.06. That recovery demonstrated that the XRP price can still respond strongly to major catalysts. However, with its current market capitalization close to $67 billion, returning to new all-time highs would require a much stronger source of momentum. It could be argued that expectations surrounding the legal outcome had already been heavily priced into the Ripple XRP price prediction narrative. But as that catalyst gradually loses momentum, the market is waiting for another story powerful enough to drive growth, whether through liquidity, stablecoins, tokenized assets, or greater real-world use of XRP across the ecosystem. Therefore, the current XRP prediction reflects not only weakness in the broader crypto market, but also an unanswered question about the token's next major growth driver. Finally, our XLM analysis focuses on a token currently trading at around $0.16. With a market capitalization significantly lower than XRP's, XLM could react relatively quickly when capital returns to altcoins. However, the token still receives comparatively limited attention and liquidity. Meanwhile, the Stellar ecosystem has achieved several positive results. Even so, the network's expansion has yet to create a narrative strong enough for XLM to attract its own independent capital flows. Most of the token's significant rallies have occurred when the broader altcoin market turned positive, rather than being driven by a unique catalyst or new expectations surrounding the project's potential. This is also a factor frequently discussed in long-term XLM price prediction scenarios. To change the way the market approaches a stellar price prediction, the project needs to turn ecosystem growth into real demand for XLM. At the same time, the token must demonstrate that it can maintain its strength even when broader market capital flows begin to slow. Overall, current prices may not fully reflect the long-term potential of the top crypto coins associated with Hedera, XRP Ledger, and Stellar. However, that does not necessarily mean HBAR, XRP, or XLM is definitively undervalued. Each token still needs to prove that the growth of its ecosystem can generate real demand and sustainable momentum. Even if that happens, the potential for a breakout will still depend significantly on whether capital returns to the altcoin market. And that concludes Crypto Radar's analysis of HBAR, XRP, and XLM in 2026. Which coin do you believe currently has the clearest breakout potential? Share your opinion in the comments below. I hope today's video has provided you with useful information. If you found the content valuable, do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss our upcoming videos. And as always, please remember that the content shared in this video is based on my own research and personal opinions and should not be considered financial or investment advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions and invest responsibly. Crypto Radar disclaims all responsibility related to the results of your transactions and your assets. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video here on Crypto Radar.